Hi, this is Joe with another movie review. And since I'm doing a couple, since Christmas is around the corner, I decided to do a couple of Christmas movie reviews. I just did one for A Christmas Story. Now I'm doing one on the what's generally considered to be the most famous, or in my opinion, infamous Christmas movie of all time. And that is, of course, the 1946 Capra film, It's a Wonderful Life, starring, of course, Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. Like I said, this movie is like, I feel it's like the most famous one there is, and I think it's like one of the first, and the first of the Christmas movies, the Christmas movie genre. And this movie, I could never get through this whole movie. I could never get through it. Because first of all, every time it airs on TV, they air it for like it's a 2-hour movie, but it airs for 3 hours. And this movie takes way too long to get through. And also it can never get past the title either. Because to me, I know it's a totally different movie, but any movie that has a title, Wonderful Life or Life is Beautiful, I'm not going to watch it. Because life is not beautiful, life is not wonderful, life sucks. And if this movie was titled Life Sucks, then we would be interested in watching it. Because that's more accurate than A Wonderful Life for a title for this movie. For those who don't know, this movie is the story of Jimmy Stewart's character named George Bailey. He lives in a small town, and he runs like a small loan company, banking a loan company, and his business is not doing all that terrific, or savings and loan company, and his company is not doing all that great, and he has this contract or this deal with the meanest and richest guy in town, and he finds out, or the rich guy finds out, that Jimmy Stewart has this big insurance policy, and he says to him, "You're worth more dead than alive." So that gives George the idea of maybe killing himself. And this is Christmas Eve. He decides to kill himself. But before that moment, it goes back to a lot of flashbacks of when George was a kid, falling in love with Donna Reed's character, who knew each other. They knew each other since they were kids, and there's one particular moment where he saves his brother's life from drowning because on like thin ice or something. He fell through the ice, and George saved his life. His brother was a bigger success than he was because he went off to World War II and won the Congressional Medal of Honor, saved his regiment. Was platoon. During a crash with the trains or something, and so he gets a Medal of Honor for that, and he's a big success. And his brother is struggling with his business, with his marriage, with raising his kids, all this stuff. And that's when he got the idea of killing himself. And instead of killing himself, he sees this guy who happens to be his guardian angel. And George says to him, "It'd be better off if it wasn't born." So of course the angel says to his angel Clarence, his name of his angel, is, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that, George." And then of course he made it happen. And of course nobody in the town knows that, because George Bailey knows everybody in the town. Nobody recognized him. No one knows who the hell he is. He thinks he was some bum or some crazy person. And he knows that his wife is married to somebody else. When he never got married, found out that his brother had died because George was not around to save him. So he realized that he had died, and then the soldiers that George's brother would have saved, they both died too because George's brother was not there to save him. So the angel says, "You really did have a wonderful life." No, he didn't. George Bailey did not have a wonderful life. His life was terrible. Well, how can you say he had a wonderful life when he saved his brother from drowning? Or from frostbite? Come on. I mean, that is such lame bullshit. That's lame, liberal, Hollywood liberal bullshit that happened. When you look at this movie, and also by the end of the movie, he decides not to kill himself, and he's happy they decide not to kill himself. That what happened with his savings and no income, I have to go back a little bit. That his uncle, like he lost the money. That's why it was also one of the motivations of why George decided to kill himself in the film. But then he found the money, and also the town found out, hey, George Bailey is in trouble, so the townspeople or the customers he said raised money and decided to help him out. And of course, his brother came home in the last minute for Christmas, and of course, King Famous told us, hey, here's George, the richest man in town. Because he had all these friends, which is kind of lame. I mean, it's such a lame thing. But the problem is that the ending, it didn't really solve anything. Because of the fact his business is still in trouble, even though I think his uncle found the money or whatever, so his business is still in trouble. The richest guy in the town is still there, still causing trouble for him and his business. Still a pain in the ass. So really, at the end of the film, it doesn't really solve anything, except that he didn't kill himself in the end. That's the only thing they accomplished. The movie was terrible. I mean, this movie is it is the role that made Jimmy Stewart's career, and Jimmy Stewart for the rest of his life built this movie. Because it's like the one role that he had that he was famous for was this one. And also you can say maybe Rear Window, he was famous for doing Rear Window, a Hitchcock movie. But this film was not that. To me, and I know I'm going to get this a lousy review, I'm probably going to get lousy comments down below for it, but I feel this movie stunk. It's a horrible movie. And because nothing really gets resolved, except for maybe Clarence getting his wings, because he helped George for not killing himself. And of course he had a line from George's daughter that says, "Look, Daddy, teacher said that when every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings." And of course George says, "Hey, where you go, Clarence?" In the end of the film, that's pretty much how it is. I know I'm not giving a short review of this thing because like I said earlier at the top, this review, I could never get to the title. Never ever could, because life's not wonderful. From my own personal experience, life is not wonderful. Life is not beautiful. Life is not terrific. Life sucks. Okay? Anybody who thinks that life is wonderful is a moron. Alright? I have to say, you are a moron who thinks life is so terrific. So you're being such a downer on this, but it's a fact. It's a sad fact that life is horrible. Life is a struggle. Day in, day out. Life is not wonderful at all. The only way to make it terrific is if you have actually someone in your life who loves you, who takes care of you and loves you very, very much. But other than that, life is horrible. It's horrible. Especially if you look at George Bailey's life, it's horrible. Nothing gets, again, well, pound this fact to it hurts. His life does not get resolved. Nothing gets resolved at the end of this film. Nothing. And to say this movie is the classic Christmas film, yeah, it is. But to say how he has this wonderful life because it's impacted on life, I think that Jackie Roberts, a great player for the Brooklyn Dodgers, says is right on his tombstone. Life is not a porn unless accepting the effect it has on other lives. That is more, but that's also part of the message in this movie. That his life is not a porn, except for the effect that he has on other lives, like lives of his town and community. That's probably what the real message is. Not how so much wonderful his life is, but his impact on his town. As lousy as much as George Bailey character has struggled in this film, it's how his life has impacted other lives in his town. I think that's the real message of the film. Not so much of how wonderful his life is, but how his life can impact other lives in the town. Even though I'm gonna say it again, nothing gets resolved in this movie. Nothing. So you waste like 2 hours watching this movie, or 3 hours in NBC watching this film, and nothing gets resolved. I think that's the frustrating part of a movie like this is that you like to see something resolved at the end of the film, like the rich guy gets his comeuppance and gets the crap beat out of him, or his business goes out of business and George's business flourishes because of his business goes out. I mean, something like that, or something like what happened in the original Back to the Future movie with stuff where Michael J. Fox's character goes back to 1985, and life for him and his family is better. That's what I would like to see at the end of Wonderful Life. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. So that's my review of It's a Wonderful Life. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. And please also check out my other videos. If I don't do another video between now and then, I want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah, depending what holiday you celebrate. I refuse to say Happy Kwanzaa because it's not a real holiday. Thank you for watching, and please check out my other videos. Catch you next time.